Rings. I'm joining us. Okay, we do. Yeah, so these are going to be uploaded a little bit later than usual, but it's all good. Okay, so this is UFO disclosure again. I don't know what other aspects of connecting. Basically, activation for it. Reptilian JFK connection. So with that, I might do more of a JFK, just bring in JFK's energy, and talk about the reptilian connections there instead of reptilian talking about JFK, because that was the idea to begin with, and shifting timelines and Canis minor, that is the canines. So I've been thinking about canines, and then I saw looking for other constellations to connect with recently. So I connected with canine before, so this will be a little bit different. So I might do Aries, Pisces. I think Aries is the goat, I believe. Ram, something like that. All right, so that's the plan on the horizon. Let's see if I can do this right. Not. Okay, so I'm targeting combat private sessions. We have the shop here. I forget where I'm at. I think I'm on the 7th for some people, 10th for others, and 12th for some people. I'm all over the place. Same situation here. The webinar sign up, social network. I didn't think there was anything really to post there recently. Rabbit, yeah, behind the scenes, and dating site. That's a slow growth there, but it's all good. It's all, it's not gonna be. It's gonna take a while for it to grow. So okay, UFO disclosure energies. Let's see. What was that? Second, somebody, Neil Armstrong. I don't think he's here anymore. Let me check just to make sure. Earl Arm. I think he's crossed over. Yeah, quite well. Yeah, I kind of figured that. Okay, we'll get Neil Armstrong's energy for this. Reluctant energy for this. And we'll go into JFK. And that was unexpected. I wasn't sure where I was. When I do this UFO disclosure, I don't know where this is going to go. All right. Blessings. Greetings. This is Neil Armstrong. Yes, I am not one to be here for very long. The rumors are true about alien abductions, of course, and government keeping much of it back. And even my time, I'm not going to talk about my time. It's not important. What matters is humanity is allowing the truth to be heard. Yes, there are distractions, but it can also be truth to be brought in also. Yes, it's used. I believe UFO knowledge is being brought in, at least the UFO sightings, anything coming from the government. Yes, it's not exactly helpful. Not necessarily. Well, it's like here's a drug, and then that's it. You have a little bit of a high, and then you're dormant on. So it's just playing around with you, basically. If they truly cared, they would just open up a UFO file and just allow information to be public record without fighting for it, and allow more knowledge to become part of society, and let humanity look for themselves. I mean, and for the government, I mean, we're not saying government needs to save everybody, no, but they are hiding a lot. and they're the worst at it, as you can see. Well, they, especially the presidents or presidents do know about it. So, yeah, it doesn't mean to put a lot of reliance on them, but just to put this out there, what they can do is just open up a department of free information and just give you everything. Just lay it all out. And they don't have to exactly answer questions because they're too afraid to do so. But obviously, they're not going to let everything out. Yeah, it's actually a weak government. It's actually a cowardly government, actually, for it to act the way it's been acting for so long, especially how the secrecy. Even they know the secrecy can only last so long. Well, as yes, the timelines that many are dabbing into. Well, this is one way for people to connect more to themselves, and that is, open up your psychic abilities, intuitive abilities. So this is opening up curiosity. So they're still educators in that regard. They also slow things down at the same time. But many of you, yes, is open up these timelines, yes, within the government or what they're hiding, because they deter a lot of, yes, they talk about education, which isn't really education. Not really. They talk about a lot of things that really isn't truly productive. Because they know that what the full human can truly be, a lot of it was actually in the 1980s. I mean, yes, people are not fully at their full capacity, but the energy was a lot better than it is now. Because many things, the secrecy, the wall of secrecy thickened. It was there, but people are so into themselves and weren't into really what was out in space, really. Somewhere was very small. But now as more people are getting curious, technology, thank you, internet, basically. And the internet actually sped things up with curiosity. Of course, that's when the wall came down to shut down things even more. So for disclosure, yeah, it's trusting your own intuition. It's really activating your Merkaba and seeing more into the future. That's really what this is all about. It's all about you in the long run. Now, most of your society, even humanity at once, when they find that it's trendy, will look into these things themselves also. Right now, it's not pop culture. It's more of a mystery. But as you basically, and some of you are extremely blocked, but not entirely. I mean, you know about these things, but you're not always, you feel like there's, you're working on, I mean, some of you are, yes, in the echelon of top secrecy. And you probably know that. So you might not have full access to what's going on. Of course not. But it doesn't mean timelines aren't coming. You are bringing in, it's like, even if you cannot tap into everything, it doesn't mean that you're not pulling in timelines for a disclosure of some type. Your internal disclosure, but eventually be external over time. As more people are tapping into this type of work, just trusting themselves, it becomes more part of society. It's hard for government to hide anything at that point. It's such a small niche at this time. It's getting stronger, but some are relying on other information, not relying on their own connections. You can get information from others, nothing wrong with that, but to also get your own perspective. And because some people are blocked and others are not. And that's the idea, because some people feel like they're not blocked at all. They can see, they're not going to see things completely clearly, but you have some idea. For my energy, being, yes, an astronaut, alien beings look at humanity in a way of, they don't, some might look, feel like aliens look down on us. I mean, yes and no. It's brave souls on this planet, basically. I mean, especially when you're trying to unlock the Earth, doing things like this, tapping into timelines. You want to see an alien vibration and you're allowing more of your astral self to unlock. You know, that's quite an achievement, especially when you have most of society doesn't believe in any of these things, completely shut down. Not to downplay society at all, because it's just, you know, as you know, it's just the way the world is developed. Some are never going to get it. It's just, they're just not, programmed that way. But you are here to bring in a new vibration from the other realms, definitely. A deeper connection to your earth. Now, all of this work is about healing your earth. It's really, I mean, there are alien astronaut beings, Pleiadians, Syrians, and they truly are trying to help you evolve. But they can't interfere. They can help in some ways, but they can't, even a little assistance goes a long way. You just don't see it here. Society is still doing a lot of self-healing at this time. Society goes backwards. It's been taught to do that. The ringmasters of media are taming society, as you can see, like lion tamers. Well, even that doesn't always work so well, but pretty much, yeah. It's yes, your modern day circus. It's just not seen that way. Obviously, it's hypnotism on the planet. You're here to reverse a lot of these spells by being yourself, by allowing more of these new energies to come in. The third dimension can only last so long. Somebody might feel that it's actually letting go even faster than you thought, at least for yourself. And that says a lot. Greetings to you. I am JFK. Yes, your leaders of your world, of course, are doing is exactly as they're being told. There is a script. You can say it's more of an astral script of how to speak to humanity, how to put the world into a kind of like a concussion of its true self. Yes, your elites that run your planets, of course, the ones that I know very well. It's not always reptilians. There has Anunnaki connections. It's a deep connection to many star systems, actually. Well, yes, many star systems are afraid of humanity truly awakening itself. Of course, yes, part of society is kind of out of control and always will be. It's just the way it is. But some of you, yes, are leaders of other planets and not even realizing it. So you're here to tap into that vibration, not for ego purposes, for basically for humanity to know more about itself. To, yes, mature itself. Many of you come here just to mature, bring in this knowledge. So you no longer have to have this suffering that's been going on for such a long time. Some would rather the suffering than to learn more about themselves. I mean, to them, they are learning about themselves, but it is almost a guilty pleasure for some, it seems. Where world leaders aren't really world leaders either. They're more quite the opposite, more like world controllers, as you can see. More like poisoning the energy of the earth to ever help anyone. And that's why they're there, to keep the world locked down. Just by being themselves, just doing what they're being told. Your monetary system, as you know, is a lockdown of the earth. So, not an easy one to let go, is it? It doesn't mean that you can't let it go. It's just not an easy one. So, as humans go more into space, there'll be still a monetary system here, and it's just the way it's going to be for now. Until the Earth really gets more, as more humanity wants to let it go, connect more to themselves. There's always going to be a portion of so some of you will find a way to make this work through your own energy. Yes, not have to consume, eat less, know more about yourself. And the rest of society is going to be holding on to its old energy. For now, at least. There's always going to be a certain energy of that. It's always going to have that on this planet. It's has a lot to do with its origins, the Neanderthal. And of course, that was quite an advanced being. There was also a time frame where there wasn't a lot of advanced beings here. That vibration is still here. A lot of the history books, the energy is still here of just basically humanity not really evolving that much. That energy is still currently today. Now, it has to get pushed every once in a while to a new direction. If that wasn't the case, it would still be in dark ages at this time. So you're currently being pushed into a new reality where this type of conversation with alien energies, even channeling energies, becomes more taken seriously. Basically, kind of like your, what is it you call your Delphi? Similar to that, where it becomes more, but the idea is to end the war here. That's the thing. Now, how many are truly? I mean, this is technically like a Delphi type of connection. Of course, it's over the internet and not in a public square. But eventually, it will go back into the public realm where channeled messages will come through, and you just take it with what works with you. But the idea is to heal the war on the planet. My time, yes, I was, of course, erased. Well, cut short. It's probably a better word. Yes, of course, I knew what was going to occur before it did. And some are connected to JFK Jr., and that is because, yes, of other lifetimes, other connections there. It's kind of a code name for some people. It doesn't really matter where it goes with that. Some are very devoted to that vibration, but the idea really comes down to is that humans take back their power. Those that want it back, you can have it. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be complete free will across the planet. No, there's still a lot of healing to be done here. But disclosure of alien energies as anything is a possibility there. You just have to give it. There are generals here, army generals, that are making sure that does not happen. But that does not mean you can't bypass some of that. Some of you have. That's why you wake up with a little burn on you. So forth. So send your energies into your united reality. So the shifting of timelines is currently going on. Basically, my time of what I was here to bring in is this time. This isn't one person bringing in it, and it wasn't just me anyway, it was others. Obviously, they got silenced. But yes, and the healing of the CIA, which is not going to be an easy one. I mean, they feel like they're gods of the planet at this time. Some of them do. They feel like they're helping humanity and they're gods. If you want to see an ego, that's where it is. A major ego. That's not the only place, that's one of the major places. That's another reason why no one trusts the United States. Because of them. Yeah, they talk about kingdoms. They talk about corporations as a kingdom. The CIA is its own kingdom, but not seen as that, is it? But it pretty much is. As a ruling entity force is your government. That is, your directors are your kings, directors of the CIA. I think so. You think not? Think again. Not many are looking into it. Of course not. It's not an easy one to see. But yes, they have all types of abilities. And it can't last forever, what they're doing. They know that. So they have to disclose themselves eventually. You see the Pentagon doing it. The CIA is going to have to follow eventually too, in some form or another. I mean, the waterboarding they got caught on, they weren't too thrilled about that. But obviously they're doing other things that are far worse. Blessings. Greetings to you. We are the Canines, Kansas Minor. Greetings. Yes, we are always assisting your world of conversation, of knowing each other. Yes, you come to a canine world to relax, to put your feet up, and basically not necessarily going to come over and lick your feet. That's not necessarily how it works in our world. There's many different types of realities in Sirius. where you can, yes, become more social. Some of you have been antisocial, especially recently. Sometimes you need to go internal, but then sometimes you need to get external. And so you incarnate as a canine, and that's another way of just saying yes. Then you talk, and no one, and it's hard to shut you up after that. But this is why the incarnations are there for. It's a role to open yourself up. If you want to become aggressive, become a reptilian being. You can become and you can also heal that vibration. So if you're very internal and you incarnate as a canine being, become external, and then you incarnate as a reptilian being, become a very external reptilian being, and yes, maybe you are licking people's faces and things like that. Maybe that's what they need, and they can also detect that too. It's like, wait a minute, this person has been a canine at one time, and now he won't leave me alone. Trying to be friends with everybody, and we all hate each other. So it's just another way of looking at why you have these incarnations to begin with. You have it in spirit, you have all these things, but it's another way of healing the soul. Incarnating is all about healing, even in the worlds where you see all this darkness. Yes, it's because in the higher dimensions, as many of you know, you can still build up a lot of darkness, and people aren't always ready to see that side of themselves. So, as a canine, because the canines have a lot of darkness within themselves, the werewolf realities are quite amusing or not amusing. It's one of the two. It all depends on where you are with that world. So, and if you want to experience beauty and to fly, you go as a fairy being, or just to be beautiful in general. But that's a lot of external energies. Of course, fairies can be external also. They can be beautiful, but also very, put their expressive self out. And some that are trying to conceal that vibration, well, like being attractive, but also being deceiving. Some reptilians incarnate as a fairy being, and it'll cause all hell for everyone. Of course, reptilians are always bad, far from it. It just, when you're part of a society that's known to take over everything in some form or another, not all are like that. Far from it. There's no way all of them are going to do that. I mean, like all canines. Are all canines going to lick your feet? Some will. That's a strange fetish. But yeah, a lot of strange fetishes come from canines too. Without going into detail. And yes, there's a lot of canine lovers also, but that's also, if you're a canine lover, most likely you've been a canine. And of course, you're connected to your canine friends that are usually lovers. But you need that, there's nothing wrong with that. Or you've been a fairy being, you had a canine as a friend or a lover, whatever it might have been a canine form or just a canine being altogether. We do have civilizations similar to yours. Yes, we get up and go to work, but it's a lot lighter on most of our planets. Yes, it's not all, we're not all kissing each other all day. No, we have a civilization. We're learning about each other. We have our own issues, just like your planet. And some of us become too external, and we have to go internal. That's why we become a feline being. We just become independent and just tell everybody, to screw off, basically. It all depends on the feline, of course. Some felines, have a lot of canine in them, and they just want to love everybody. So it all depends on your connections. So our planets are normally very friendly overall. It just, incarnated as a canine being, you have to be ready for anything of just, hugging each other. Now there's also bear worlds, bear planets that's not mentioned, and they're kind of the same way to a certain extent. Of course, on your world, they're vicious as hell. But then again, if you're a bear here, wouldn't you be but there's nice bears here too. You just don't really hear about them too much. So we're just koala bears and things like that. Yes, it's not all. The grizzlies are like your warrior bears, of course. So yeah, they're like your reptilians. They're just going to take everybody out. So there's always, of course, every species is always going to have the fluffy, kind, kiss your, lick your feet all day long, and others are going to be, here to take you out. As soon as you say hi, they're ready to, you're next on the list on their kill list. That was always an up and down all species. So like when they say your world is, all humans are horrible, that's a good luck with that one. But there is a lot of learning to do, and there is a lot of canine energy on your world. And that's probably another reason why humanity hasn't really evolved all much, because you can't just hanging out with each other all day and just talking to each other, and that's about it. Evolving, when you're on a canine world, do you really need, you're just there to chill out. I mean, isn't that evolving? We some see it that way. Greetings to you. Greetings, I'm Agent N with the Men in Black. Greetings to your society, your Rumpelstiltskin planet of transformation. So we're here to, I don't know if we're going to give you a galactic update. What is there to update? Presidential situations falling apart, as you might have noticed. Internally, there is panic. And you could probably see in that, the less you see of your president, probably the better. The aides are losing their minds. Everyone's losing their minds. Like, what we're going to do is almost like the Titanic is slowly going down. So, yes, come up with all these ridiculous rules, all these ridiculous everything through the U.S. government, always all. Of course, we even call those distractions. They don't want you to know what the elephant in the room is, which is obviously, a dementia president, basically, pretty much just went bye-bye a long time ago. And if that's not disclosure for you, well, more is to come. That's all we can say on that. Not to say it's going to be the end of the world, far from it. Just expect a lot of breakdowns in society and new revelations. Yeah. Now, UFO disclosure, well, we can't comment on that. But yes, you can find the UFO within your cell phone, in your backyard, wherever it might be. Well, anything's possible with that. We have to admit, a lot of the control on your planet is not as strong as it used to be. How that happens is humans are taking back their power. We just keep things running the way it is. But if people show responsibility in their connections, that's what we're looking for. Reason why alien beings are all kept quiet is because society obviously doesn't know what the hell it's doing. If you have not noticed recently. So, I mean, yeah, look at it from our perspective. Obviously, many aren't that interested in our perspective, but there's a lot of panic in society. Yeah, you have your ships in the skies, which to us, some of us would be absolutely hilarious, but do you really need that? I mean, it'd be funny, but not funny. I mean, yeah, it's real, but doesn't mean you're not going to have a disclosure vibration here in some form or another. It might be a distraction, but maybe a really obvious one. For fake alien invasion energies, obviously that's a timeline that's well hidden, but one that, yes, once again has been highly discussed. Well, it's just basically, the Pentagon is throwing candy at the people, basically. And then just, it's almost insulting. Your government insults your people a lot, actually. Behind closed doors, of course. Well, because they think it is kind of like have a French mentality, at least the old France, where they care about the people. That's pretty much what's happening there. That's been happening for some time, as some of you might not notice. And the people take it for now. Well, now how you change things is vibrationally. Yeah, going there knocking on the door isn't really going to do much. Protesting, that might work a little bit, but it brings out more negativity, you might realize. But just basically shifting the way you look at things. Some of you becoming remote viewers, we believe. And you can remote the hell out of everything, sure. That's all. We're not going to go into detail of what to remote view. But yeah, they can only be so destructive here and they have been. But even, all governments fall in some form or another. This one's not doing looking so good. It's like you're seeing the health of it right in front of you. You have some crazy people running the show here, right? Yeah, crazy is probably, yes, they're insane. There are alien entities that's channeling through some of these people, big time. As you see the vibration, if you see them shift, that show you're going into a new age. If they shift on television, that's saying something. There's a possibility of that. It's like, wait a minute, did I just see something? And then you slow it down. It's like they just changed into something. So there's a possibility of that. There's a form of disclosure, little by little by little nuggets here and there. Signing out. Blessings.